Hey there, and happy Tuesday. So I'm excited that I packed enough anyway. And I'm just going through my last minute checkoff list that I can just stop and take a breather and do a Facebook Live for you guys, because I have these projects lined up. And then as my week goes on and I leave for North Carolina, they unveil the next annual catalog. And after that, we kind of get a feeling for what will be retiring from the mini catalog and the annual catalog, as well as seeing what's new. So there's always that, ooh, this is what's new, but then there's that look back of, oh boy, what are we going to be losing? And we know the 5 in colors. So my reminder again, get your cardstock, your ink, your refills, because those are the things that will sell out fast and they might not be restocked to come back in. So that is my reminder. But there's just so much that there is to look forward to. And with that, I want to make sure that the samples that I've planned in the background here, I get to video and film for you guys so that you get a chance to see them before they might sell out too. So today I am bringing you, let me grab the card, a fun fold. And it's a fun fold that I did not too long ago with the hot pink Toadstool Gardens Designer Series paper, that's 6x6. And I think what I like about this design, is it uses up the 6x6 paper really well in a fun way, because there's the coordinating backs and fronts and different styles within each 6x6 package usually, plus these cuts are designed to go well with that type of thing too. Not saying that you can't use 12x12 too, but when I look at my 6x6 stacks, it's like this is a good idea for that. So let me get my camera turned around and show you all the details of where to find the things and such too. All right, so I've got the card. You can see it this way, the fun fold, opening like that. So the stamp set here is from the mini catalog, and I had gotten it right away because I'm like, oh, this is a really fun kind of like whimsical looking one. And I think like a lot of times you guys like to make birthday cards that have a little bit of pun in them and such. And so when I got it, I was going to use it and realized it was out of stock almost right away and for a while. And it's back in stock now and people are ordering it, and it's been really popular. A lot of orders have the stamp set on there. So I'm like, I need to come up with ideas to help you guys that are purchasing it along. There's always great ideas here right off the bat. So that helps to, like, for a person like me that's very visual, I see this and I'm like, oh, I really want this based on just that alone. And I love how they use the birdhouse to make a dog house there, in case you're wondering where that's from, and just the color combination of the blues there and such. So I'm going to use the dog from that, and that's on page 59 of the mini catalog. So that's so super cute. And then I have my scoring tool here, because not always do you see this. This is one of those background tools that I use all the time, especially prepping for my classes. I can score 8.5 by 11 all at once. What I usually do if I'm scoring, say I'm going to make a card, let me just grab a piece of paper, or excuse me, a piece of cardstock. Usually what I do when I'm prepping for classes is I take the whole 8.5 by 11 and I will take the scoring tool score and like right down the 4 1/4, just go right down the middle, and then I cut all of my cardstock bases in half. So it's a workhorse for me, put it that way. You can actually see, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but here it's very visible where the 4 1/4 and the 5 1/2 are. I've kind of wore those out. Not wore them out, wore them in, maybe that's the better term. So for today's card, since it's a fun fold and it has a different type of fold coming towards the middle, I want to give you those measurements. So I have this that is cut in half already, and so this is cut 5 1/2, or excuse me, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and where I have scored is 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. So it's the same amount at each side, and then it gives us that nice middle where we can slide in my usual 4 by 5 1/4 piece for that inside slot. So those are the measurements there, and I'll give you these panel measurements as I go along making the card. But I like to let you know when I'm making like several of these, this is how it works. And if you are one that likes to get together with a group or even a friend and make several, you might consider this tool versus, you can still do it with our cut and score, or our cut and score, the paper trimmer also. That's not a problem. But sometimes if you are doing multiples, this is where this really comes in handy as well. All right, so I'm going to set this aside and get my materials together. So speaking of retiring in colors, Pebbled Path is one of them. One of my team just had said, oh, I'm going to stock up on the Pebbled Path. It is my favorite. Me as well. Somebody actually said, and I couldn't believe it, a demonstrator said, oh, we can part ways with some of our grays. We've got so many. And I guess we do have 4 shades of gray, not 50, but 4. Hi there, Kirsten. And I love all of them for different reasons. So I hope they don't part with any of the others anytime soon. This one we know will be retiring in a matter of like a month or just more than that, like about 6 weeks. Okay, unless it sells out first. All right, so I'm going to just take my bone folder here and give this crisp edges. And I always try to make sure that when I've cut and scored that the edges aren't going over like down or up, that it folds right to the middle. And it looks like this one's good. Sometimes just between scoring and cutting, it can get just a little wonky, but that looks good. And then next we're going to put together these tabs for it. We're going to get 2. Oh, and I have to tell you where this cute paper, this is that Timeless Plaid. This is the 6x6 in the mini catalog as well. And so you could just take this. I love the masculine tones in here. There's lots of blues, oranges, browns, greens, such like that. Like already my stack's in half because I've been having so much fun with it. But yes, Timeless Plaid. It's part of that Storybook Moments, kind of the Peter Cottontail looking suite in the mini catalog. So we need 2 Early Espresso, and then this Pebbled Path Early Espresso crumb cake pattern goes on there. The back side is for what we're using for the middle, and I have a crumb cake mat for that. So the Early Espresso, let me measure that for you, 1.75 by 4. So 1.75 by 4, which means this is 1.5 by 3.75. These are identical. So for the middle path that we're going to have here, this is 1.25 by 4. That means this is 1 by 3.75. So I can just put these all together. Hi there, Lori. Good to see you on here. So let me just mat all of these. I find it kind of easier just to do like one step like this with this type of card. And I've done, like I said, a similar card like this for you guys. The biggest thing is making sure when you get to the next part of putting on your adhesive to put this on your card that you don't put adhesive all the way across and tape your card front shut. So I'm going to take and flip this over and put adhesive about halfway here on the back side. And with this being shut, I'm just going to eye it so it's about 1/4 inch from either side and about 1/4 inch from the top. So I can do that. And then I'm going to go with that same strip, same measurements, do about 3 strips there halfway across, and that's going to go same side. And I'm going to eye that about 1/4 inch from each side as well as the bottom. Now this is going to do the same thing. Put some adhesive about halfway on there, and it's going to go on the other side. And I can just eye that right in the middle, about 1/4 inch from each side, and then just space that so it's in the middle. And now we have the fun fold already down. So this does come together, that part, pretty quick, and the rest of it actually comes together pretty quick as well. The Pebbled Path ink pad is what I'm using. And so I'm just going to pull out some Very Vanilla. I thought with these colors, Very Vanilla seemed to just look better than the basic white. Hey, for those of you that have seen what's going on with our white products. We have been in an uproar. Thick Basic White, these things, this is totally off subject, total squirrel moment, but happening today, so it's not really. So Thick Basic White that I love for my card bases. A lot of times, like on a card like this, I'm using colored card bases, and even my youngest son said, "What's the big deal, Mom? Don't you usually use colored cardstock for your bases?" But when I want a white card base, I want my Thick Basic White. It's just a thicker, more durable card so that it stands up better. And they were going to take that away from us and just give us 12 by 12, and we spoke up. So when you guys say, "Hey, I wish Stampin' Up! Would do this," or "Could you suggest this?" I always do. Enough of us suggested that, and they're bringing that back in. So that's exciting. So we're not going to be losing that. There might be a disruption of service a little bit as people stocked up on it. Let me put this back in. But once they get kind of caught up and things settle down, it'll be back as a thing that we can order. All right. So now back to the card. So this little strip here is about 3/4 by 2.5. So 3/4 by 2.5, very vanilla. And from the One More Year stamp set, it's going to say, "You're how old? Question mark. In dog years, you would be." There we go. I'm always like, okay, this isn't a photopolymer. It's not clear. So I'm always hoping, like, I hope that lines up. So I'm going to stamp that out, and then I'm going to mat that on my early espresso piece. And that's going to be just shy of like 1 inch by 2.75. I have it a little narrower, but pretty close to that measurement. But I just wanted the matting to be a little bit closer, not the full 1/4 inch. So I have that, and I'm going to pop on some dimensionals across there to get that popped up from the Designer Series paper here. All right, and I'll lay that down, and this is going to go off to the side. Isn't this fun? I love it because it makes such a great guy card with those type of colors too. Hey there, Rachel. I'm doing a dog card. You guys love your dog. So this would be a fun card for you guys. All right. And then next I'm going to pick up the cute dog here, and this is going to get stamped out in Pebbled Path as well. Usually I like to use the Memento Black. Let me grab some vanilla scratch paper here. I usually use my Memento when I'm going to come back and color it with blends, these blends, but I kind of liked how it's going to match up with the color combination we have going on. And then this set is a standalone set, which when I say that, it means that there are no dies to cut out our images from the stamp set. And never fear, because this is easy to cut out. If you think, you know what, I'm not really a person that likes to fussy cut or take the time to do that, then there's always like our circle dies or the stylish shapes dies, where you can just cut out something like that with your cut and emboss machine, and then just center these cute images on there and pop it up, and that works just fine too. But I kind of liked the way this guy just kind of pops up on its own without having a circle. And with the Fun Fold, I kind of also had to watch the sizing to make sure that I didn't get him too big, because there is a little bit of a, you'll see it when I add him to it, a little bit of a flap and fold over that I kind of have to maneuver with his fun little party hat. But there is no way I was going to cut off his party hat, because it's kind of what makes the dog super cute and kind of adds to the birthday theme that the card has going on. All right, so in that amount of time, got that bad boy cut out. So the blends that I'm using is the light Petal Pink and the light Pebbled Path. Isn't that a pretty color combination just there right alone? So I'm going to take the Petal Pink and just kind of go over the little puff in his hat, and also on his ears, both of them, and his tongue. Hear that sticking out? And then over his little dots on his cheeks and his nose. That's all I'm going to do for that. And then for the light Pebbled Path, I almost thought about, excuse me, leaving the little party hat. But I thought, you know what? I'm just going to kind of add some little stripes in there. This one's going to be a little bit different. This one I colored the whole thing in, but I thought, you know what, next time I make it, I'm going to do stripes. And I think it kind of doesn't look as muddy. Not that that's bad, but I just like the crisper image of that one a little bit better. So now he is ready to be popped up and put on my card too. So let me grab some dimensionals here. And, okay, got those, maybe. And that's ready to go. So I'm going to put him off in the corner here like so. And so when I say there's a little bit of workaround, you can see that his little puff there is going to kind of go, this has to go up and around it. Not a big deal. Like it just kind of breezes past. Or if you put it together like that, you don't even have to worry about that. So that almost finishes the front of the card. But I want to add some embellishments. The Neutrals adhesive back sequins from the annual catalog. These have been a carryover, so it's like already, so I'm wondering if they're going to be in the next annual catalog or not. I've been loving these, and for people on my team that promote to like Bronze Elite, this is something that I often give as their little treat or reward as recognition, because it's got some of those bronzy type colors and such. For today, I'm going to pull out the gold, and where's my take your pick tool here? And I'm going to put a large gold little sequin here, oops, and a small down there. And then up at the top, I'm going to, it's a skinnier space, but I'm also going to do, oh, that's funny that there's like one on top of the other. I'm going to see if I can pry that apart. There we go. There's a large and a mini. I have to kind of maneuver it with my finger to make sure that there's adhesive on both of those too. So we've got that same pattern kind of following through right there. And now for the inside, I'm going to make it super simple. So on the front it says how old in dog year, or how old in dog years you would be. So the inside is going to say, oh, here it is. I'm like, where'd that go? The inside is going to say, happy birthday, another wrinkle wiser. So I have that. And this is the pebbled path as well. Like I said, 4 by 5 1/4. And I thought about like maybe just putting the little sneak peek of a part of the dog's head or something, like stamping that peeking out of the bottom or whatever. But I'm like, you know what? I kind of like, with so much going on the front of the card, I kind of liked leaving it blank. So there we have that. All right, so today's fun fold is like that. There you go. How fun is that? Like I said, I've done this like in a pink version before with the garden toadstools, but kind of fun to see a totally different color combination, same layout, because sometimes some of you are like, oh, I don't quite get that, or don't think I would like that. But then if I can redo it just with a different set of accessories, stamps, inks, and different things, that you might go, oh, maybe I will try that. So then it gets you expanding what you might have on hand to be able to make your cards also. So no more Facebook Lives from me as far as card ideas and such, but I hope to be setting up an album and posting the pictures that I can. Stampin' Up! Is very rigid about what we can post, what we can't post. If we see made up designs and different things, we can take pictures and show you that. Like they'll have display boards and different things. We can take pictures of upcoming products that way. We can show you the outside of the catalog when we receive those, but we can't show you anything from the inside, any pictures or videos or anything like that, or any of the demos that are being done. So we can't do that. There's a lot of things we can do. So that's what I want to show you, as well as like the fun that we have when we get together as demonstrators too, because that is a blast. I'm really looking forward to connecting with people, meeting new people. Some of you here have been following me and said that you're going to be looking for me in North Carolina. So I hope I recognize you. So that's going to be fun. All right. So hopefully I'll be checking in when I get back, but with more creation. But until then, just look for all the fun I'll be having in North Carolina Carolina. And thank you so much again for supporting me so that I can do this. Like, this is on my own dime to fly out there and go to the conference and everything, but you guys make that possible by building my excitement, and I feel like I get an edge on what's new and what to bring to you guys by doing that too. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.